Guys, and welcome to the fish room. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and today I'm going to work on these two aquariums. As you guys know, this is my new Lake Tanganyikan community. The fish are still in their first week of being here, so I'm doing daily 25% water changes just to bolster their immunity, as well as feeding them pretty heavily, and doing the daily water changes helps with any accumulated detritus or just issues with water quality that may occur during this time. I have my homemade siphon set there, and I'm going to work on the 75-gallon South American community of nano fish while this tank drains. And I'm just going to do some spot cleaning in that aquarium in order to spruce it up a little bit, and then I may set up a siphon to do a large water change as well. And I thought that while I was doing these things, we could chat a little bit about cleaner fish. Now, I think it is a natural inclination to want to add an inhabitant to help with the maintenance and work in an aquarium, especially with algae issues. But it's a really bad idea, and it's not a bad idea to add critters that are natural algae eaters, but it's a bad idea to think of them as cleaner fish. So let's get started, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So in this aquarium, I'm just going to clean up some of the substrate around the wood because there are a ton of otocinclus in here that graze on all the surfaces. There's a fair amount of poop. And that brings me to the discussion of cleaner fish. It's really, really important to remember that when we add an inhabitant to take care of a problem, it can bring its own problems. And any species that you add to clean your aquarium is going to produce waste. How much really depends on what you choose. In this aquarium, I have otocinclus, which are relatively small fish, so the waste they produce is not very large. However, it is best to keep them in numbers. And this is a situation you'll run into with a lot of fish that are commonly called cleaner fish. A lot of times they really do best in numbers. I've heard Corydoras catfish recommended as good cleaners, but the reality is they are schooling fish, and you need a decent sized group of them in order for them to really exhibit the best behavior, stay healthy, and eat well. And on the topic of eating, the vast majority of cleaner fish have specialized diets and really require targeted feeding in order to maintain adequate nutrition and health. So to consider them a cleaner fish, I think, does a disservice to the fish and to our aquariums and all of the thought that goes into maintaining a healthy, well-stocked community aquarium. Now, that isn't to say that there's not species that do well singularly, things like bristlenose pleco, but anyone who's kept a pleco will tell you they also produce an extremely large amount of waste. So while they may clean your rocks of some algae or eat some algae off the surface of your wood, they're producing that much more feces that you have to clean up. And nothing really eats that sort of waste. So another popular thing for people to do is to add loaches to deal with snail problems. And I think that this is a really bad idea, again, because the vast majority of loaches are very social fish and really require good sized schools in order for them to be the fun, active, engaging, fascinating species that they are. There's also the problem being compounded by the fact that a lot of loach species that will eat snails get pretty sizable. I see people recommend clown loaches all the time to clean up aquariums, and those fish get big. And they are very, very social. That's not to say they'll die if kept singularly, but I mean, they're really way more fun when you have a big group. Now, there are some species, things like nearite snails, that do quite well on their own, that are great algae eaters, and I use them in a lot of my aquariums. But they still produce waste, and they lay little eggs on your hardscape that can be difficult to remove. So I always think it's best when you're considering your stocking for an aquarium to not think of things as a cleaner fish, but to really take into consideration their dietary and social needs before you decide to add them. As a basic rule of thumb, if you're adding a species in order to take care of a problem, it's probably a problem that you should take care of before you add a new species. As always, I want to know what you guys think. Let me know below what your favorite cleaner fish are, or your favorite species that you add in order to deal with problems. You know, let me know how long you've had it going and what works. I mean, there certainly is a place for adding algae-eating species to our aquarium. In fact, I adore them, but it is, again, super important that we make sure that they're being fed adequately and housed in the right social structure. As always, thank you for your continued support. Make sure you stop by my Instagram at Ms. Jinx, as well as my website, MsJinx.com, where you can find my upcoming speaking engagements and information on all things nano.